This AskReddit user asks, "What's the rarest thing you own and how did you get it?" Nintendo M82 Store Display Console. Paid with money. Uff. That's a nice catch. And probably an expensive one too. 1860s model Colt Navy revolver. Grandfather's father found it in a field in near mint condition and has passed it down as heirloom. Valued at about $45,000 and insured at that. A very old copy of the Danse Macabre. It's falling apart and the pages are very brittle. My mother got it when she was in Europe. She found it just sitting in an abandoned building, which is creepy, but it's not cursed or anything. And we checked and it's authentic. Edit. It's the full score too, not just one part. Holy St. I am so FG peanut butter and jealous right now. That is one of the coolest things I have ever heard. What a beautiful piece. This comment made me think of BoJack. I'm green with envy, haha. I own an old copy of Everyman, but it's not that old. A Prohibition era still. It was my great-grandfather and my father somehow got it when he passed. It needs to be rewielded. Which I'll probably never do. But if it ever happens, you can make vodka with it. An aviation issue map of Vimy Ridge from World War I. A great-great-great-uncle was a pilot and it came back with him. Along with his goggles, binoculars and compass. I have an original SNES cartridge of Earthbound. Found it at my local retro gaming store for $250. Didn't have enough money when I initially found it. So I paid them $20 to hold it for a couple days until I got paid. It's still my prized possession amongst my entire game collection. I picked it up complete for about $200 back around 06 or 07 before it really blew up. Even still has the scratch and sniff stickers in the guide manual. I have a small collection of one-of-a-kind artworks. Sure, they're in crayon, and not really colored in the lines. And I store them on my fridge. But they're priceless. A .22 caliber, single-shot NI pilot survival rifle manufactured by Gustav Genschau. My granddad was a U.S. soldier during World War II and saved the rifle from being destroyed by the quartermaster by trading him some cigarettes and a chocolate bar. A statue of Heavy from TF2 made for a Valve employee. I ordered a regular Heavy statue and wondered why my statue base was different. Emailed support and found out I accidentally received the Valve employee version by mistake. Shipping would have cost a ton to send it back. So they let me keep it instead. That's awesome. A72X48 bus shelter ad poster from the Apple Think Different ad campaign with Albert Einstein. Purchased from a couple who worked at Apple in the 1990s to 2000s. The vast majority of prints in this size were destroyed after the ad campaign. You can find them in 11 by 17 and 36 by 24 very easily, but I have never seen another bus shelter-sized one for sale. No idea what it's even worth. Charizard card. By chance. I somehow have 3. I had 3 as well, but someone at a card swap convinced me to trade one for a holo that they claimed was only available in Japan. I still have 2. Though. I have an old Typhlosion card, but it's not holo or anything. A male calico cat. A friend from work was trying to unload some kittens and no one wanted that one because it was the runt of the litter. She told me it was a girl and I treated him like a girl, as did the vet I took him to for his shots. The vet even scheduled him to be spayed. But a few days beforehand, he was laying on his back next to me and I was rubbing his belly, which made him very happy. I remember calling up my best friend and shrieking, "Gurgi has an outie, not an innie." And I was just so confused. I called the vet to try to change the surgery. Spaying is like 5 times more expensive than neutering. And they wouldn't let me because they didn't believe he was a male cat. I ended up finding a new vet who just delighted in having him. But it never failed. For the next 16 years. Every single time there was a new vet tech or near the end when we had to go to the pet hospital a bunch of times with him. Every single person turned him around because they didn't believe he was a boy. We were repeatedly told that he was 1 in a million and that there were people out there that would pay big bucks to own a male calico. We even had a vet at the hospital bring in his students into our exam room because they might never see another one again. Gurgi was his first male calico in his 22-year experience. He passed a few years ago, but I do still have him in a box on my mantle. ETA. Cat tax. I've always had an Audi. Silly. Whoa. 7YO account. Makes sense that they would just automatically expect it to be a female. Calico requires XX chromosome. This is why most male calicos are sterile. They have an extra chromosome always. As the other posted out, he would be an XXY. People that would pay big money for a male probably don't realize that A, they are most likely sterile, and B, even if it is even more rare and could reproduce, you aren't guaranteed a calico litter. Even if you breed it with a female that has the calico pattern. Since it is simply a pattern, not a breed. I have a bust of Juggernaut that is one of 75. I bought it about a decade ago at Jay and Silent Bob's secret stash during a day trip to Red Bank. NJ with some friends as we went on a Kevin Smith tour of the area. My 1965 Chevy Impala. Okay, a 65 Impala normally isn't that rare of a car, but mine is the hardtop sedan body style instead of the much more common coupe. It's also a survivor. An almost completely factory original car, which is rare for a sedan because they aren't as desirable. Many get used as parts cars for the coupes. I bought it at an estate auction cheap because it didn't run at the time. Link. An actual Civil War bugle. And I have no FG clue. It was just in my room one day and I took it to a pawn shop. Who said that it was the real deal? I naturally didn't give it to them. I play baritone, it's useless to me. I thought you wrote bulge and was confused. On another note, I used to play the baritone. Do you ever get tired of people asking, the baritone what? Quote. I guess euphonium is more specific. Rage. A euphonium is different from a baritone. Euphs have a higher range. And any more barrel-shaped bell. A meteorite the size of a golf ball. Given to me by my grandpa. Shiny Spinda in Pokémon Emerald. Mercury silver dimes and steel pennies. My grandmother gave me some of my grandfather's coins after he passed away. I have lead pennies from, I think, around either World War I or World War II. Very cool. They are zinc-coated steel. What country are they from? If it's the US, they're probably the steel sent from World War II. Which are also pretty darn cool. My dog, because there's only one of him in the world and he's the best boy. But really, I have some rare plants, I guess. Give me your plants. And your dog. Make sure he's not John Wick first. Prayer scarf blessed by the Dalai Lama. Got it by beating down a monk and robbing him. A pen knife my great-grandfather forged as a blacksmith apprentice in the late 1800s. Breast implants. Not many guys have them. I bought them. Wait, whoa, look at your username. Right on. A book about the Great War, as its title boldly states. It was written in 1919, a year after the First World War, and was the original print by the men who fought in the war. So cool. I got it for, like, $30 at a dingy bookstore when visiting family. My DNA sequence. When a mommy and daddy love each other. Not exactly a wrong answer. Vintage Dior handkerchiefs gifted to my grandfather by Nancy Sinatra. I took over the house my grandparents used to live in. Okay, this is so cool. Is there a story behind this by any chance? My bottle of Nuka-Cola Quantum. Only 36 bottles. 6 packs. Were delivered to my county. To get my hands on one. I bribed a Target stock employee 500 bottle caps to let me know when their shipment arrived and when I have to show up to he first in line. I have a book of Roman poetry translated into English. Published in 1870. A field-cut WW1 British Lee Enfield bayonet. My guy. You don't have a bayonet. You basically have a claymore. Ha. I'll post a picture later. How long is it 'cause I think I have one? Old Canadian and Indian bills that aren't in circulation anymore. A batarang given to people who worked on Arkham games. Which I have because my wife worked on an Arkham game. DN. That's cool. What did she do and which Arkham games has she worked on? Tester, and it was Arkham City. She moved elsewhere after that was done and is now a producer. Oh wow. Congrats on her new job. That's so cool. A 2,000-year-old Roman coin. It's actually quite common. And I only paid $15 for it. But in the US it's practically a secret that you can get these coins so easily. I doubt if anyone else I know has one. I just researched reputable vendors and ordered it online. You wanna drop a link or something, fam? Might need to cop one. Don't let the Brandy Melville girls see this thread. A paw print of my cat Spooky. Only one was ever made. Miss you, little buddy. A Tiffany stained glass window signed by the artist. Louis Comfort Tiffany. It was salvaged from a church that had closed years ago. The window had been in storage. In a crate. Until workmen converting the church to become a restaurant per bar tossed it into a dumpster. Whoa. Cool. What is my perfect crime? I break into Tiffany's at midnight. Do I go for the vault? No. I go for the chandelier. It's priceless. As I'm taking it down, a woman catches me. She tells me to stop. It's her father's business. She's Tiffany. I say no. We make love all night. In the morning the cops come and I escape in one of their uniforms. I tell her to meet me in Mexico, but I go to Canada. I don't trust her. Besides, I love the cold. 30 years later I get a postcard. I have a son. And he's the chief of police. This is where the story gets interesting. I tell Tiffany to meet me in Paris by the Trocadero. She's been waiting for me all these years. She's never taken another lover. I don't care. I don't show up. I go to Berlin. That's where I stashed the chandelier. Ha ha, that's good stuff. This isn't that rare. But I appreciate owning it nonetheless. A soundtrack album for Super Smash Bros. For 3DS and Wii U that I got from a charity shop for £1. For comparison, the cheapest copy on Amazon UK goes for £25. I have an authentic Eastern Star ring that dates to at least the 1930s. It's too big for me to wear, so I mostly hold onto it as a keepsake. I got a lot of old jewelry and pins when my grandma passed. When Grandpa passes, I'm set to inherit the family Bible. It's a little travel-size New Testament that's been in the family since the 1860s according to the earliest legible date within. Though my own research suggests it could be up to 20 years older. I don't know how many of its kind are around still. I have a Black Lotus. Unlimited. From Magic: The Gathering. I got it from a regular booster pack. I had no idea what I had until I used it in a game and a friend jumped out of his seat and yelled at me. This was around the beginning of the game's popularity. And we all had full-time jobs and not much responsibility. So we'd buy full boxes of booster packs at our local comic shop every couple of weeks. I also had Mox Ruby, Sapphire, and Pearl, but I don't know where they ended up. It's possible that I traded them for something. A friend of mine pulled a time walk out of a box of random cards at a shop for 10 cents. He didn't know what he had until another friend told him. Then he sold it to his girlfriend's dad for $200. First edition of Animal Farm. I found it in a box of self-help books destined for the dumpster after a storage unit auction. That's funny. I bought one on eBay last year. Not for very much though. Not sure of its actual value. Yeah, mine wouldn't be worth too much. Still kind of rare to find in the trash. I paid less than $10. But it's a first edition of an iconic book. So the value will only go up. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more videos.